Well, with this movie, we begin something I'm sure many of you have been wanting to check out, and that is special effects. Not only can you do basic and more advanced cell style of animation with Anime Studio Pro, but there's many things you can do with the program that really increase its utility, and frankly, you can pull off some very cool special effects with Anime Studio Pro. We'll take a look at some of these. We've touched on some of them and we've kind of come up close to them, but we're going to look at all these in depth right now. And this section does assume that you have gone through some of the preceding sections before this. I'm not going to spend time explaining some of the more fundamental types of operations because we're starting to pull them all together in working with special effects, and then the section that follows this where we actually work on projects, specific things where we start using everything we've learned. 3D scenes is one of those. Another thing that we'll be taking a look at is pre-made particles, how and where you might make some of those or use some of those. And then how do you make your own so you can do some special effects with the particles that are more than you might imagine. This is just a great way to go ahead and extend some of the uses you have with Anime Studio Pro. Also, there's some great ways to create some fake shadows. There are some special things that you can do to add shadows to layers in Anime Studio Pro, and this is something a little bit different than that, where you actually create a relationship between shapes. We'll cover that. Also, some specific types of camera moves where you start actually animating with the camera in 3D and how we set up some of our scenes to function that way. There's many parts that come into play that really start drawing in all those sections we've learned. And finally, there's a special little tidbit on advanced masking that we'll use for special textures that we use on characters in our cell shading types of environment. Additionally, we use some special masking in the particles themselves, but it's completely a different kind. So while I'll be using the same words, masking in both, they'll mean different things and it will become very clear. Let's go ahead and hop to our first movie and start working with 3D scenes.